that on. And, oh, hang on a minute. That's weird. I'm coming. Can you talk?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, that I think that's right. I think I thought mine was the top one, but it's not. I don't think. Oh, technical issues. I'll check whether or not there's an echo later on. So hello, everyone. Hello, welcome back. If you remember, we're currently playing a rule set called M Space. We have blasted off into space, and the party have managed to survive their first escape pod situation. They found a strange probe, and a nice crew from the Celeste has taken them to the local settlement, which is called Arid. And they found some interesting things out last week. And I'm going to quickly run through them a little bit later after the party, the players have introduced who they are and who they're playing, just to let you know that it's very hot over across the pond. So Medivac and I are really cool and we're just sat here. But Captain and Mr. Pickles are sweating a lot. And what was it, 102 or 104?
It's getting there.
Fahrenheit. What was that in centigrade? Celsius, you put it in the chat, but I can't remember.
It was 38, wasn't it? 39?
Yeah.
38.
Wow. That is...
It doesn't feel good.
No. Do you have aircon?
Yes, but I have my suspicions about it because my house is like in direct sunlight. So like there's a flaw in the system. Maybe like, I don't know, the roof might not be fully insulating.
You need to put mirrors on your windows.
Yeah. Or it could be that somebody else's output from their aircon is going into your house, Mr. Wickle.
Well, my neighbors.
Yeah, so
past them.
I was thinking more Captains, that he sort of like shoved his pipe, you know, its outflow in your direction, and then that would be it. So.
I took someone else's AC unit and I pointed towards mine house, and I think I don't want to pay for it.
No, well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They're super expensive, aren't they? We don't have them. We have our own aircon. They're called Windows here in the UK.
Yes, and the anti-aircon, which is called a jumper.
Yeah. or pullover, as some people. Some people called them. I was in a stream the other day talking about jumpers, and they didn't know what I was talking about. They said,
really?
And I call
suicide people.
Yeah, and I call a vest top. Okay, then. So, but apparently it's not called a vest top; it's called a tank top.
What? It's not the one with no sleeves, but a vest is a vest.
Yeah, like. You know, like a wife beater vest. If you,
yeah,
but
they got a burning bit. You got a burning mind.
They don't call it a vest. They call it a tank top, and a tank top for me is a V-neck sweater without any sleeves.
That's like Australians calling flip flops to call them thongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really, really weird.
Yeah, especially. Anyway, let's get on with the game. That's it now. I've got thongs in my head. Let's let the players introduce who they are. Mr. Pickles from Sweaty America. Off you go.
You can't see me, but I'm Mr. Pickles, and I'm sweating like I'm being paid to, and that's why you can't see me. I play Zach Newman, who is our team's most intense and maybe unsettling figure. He has very low charisma. He is a strict adherence to what he calls the law, and he is trying to uphold said law. We found out about a corporation last session called Core, and though Newman is sort of shaky on the exact details, he knows that he's worked with Core before, and that they put him into some compromising positions, mostly due to corruption. And Newman, you need to uphold our justice here, even if he disagreed with it. And so he went away from them at some point, though the specifics are not in his head fully yet. Newman is our fighter. He has a shotgun and he is very tough, and that's what he brings to the table.
So does Newman like the core? Does he resent the core? What's his, on a scale of completely hate to completely love? Whereabouts is he?
If 10 is hatred, then I'd put him at like a 6.5 or a 7. It's firm
Ooh.
distrust. He thinks that they're up to no good and are contrary to how he wants to help the universe.
Nice. So between 6 and 7 then, yeah?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
And I'll roll the microphone on over to Captain Kangaroo across the hall.
Everybody. Hey, no, I'm Captain Kangaroo. I am playing Arthur Hammond tonight. Sorry ahead of time. I am sick as well as in
I can hear
Boiling
it.
Heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and also I hurt my ankle earlier this week too. So essentially, I'm broken and I'm in the worst case scenario for a human. Arthur Hammond, he is kind of the do all of the group. He's always there. He's always there to kind of fix things, fix any technological needs of the group. He's a very intelligent person, but he's definitely a little bit past his prime. He has experience with core. He worked with core back in the day, but things have definitely not gone his way. He was in their military research unit when it comes to, so he learned a lot of his technical abilities through that unit, but any advancements he was able to achieve, they took that achievement from him, saying it's their achievement. So he definitely doesn't like them as much, and he left on his own discord because he didn't want to. He wanted to be able to keep his own inventions of that nature.
Nice. So on a scale of 0 to 10,
I would say a good 8, because
Ooh.
he did leave on his own discord, but he still doesn't enjoy him too much, and there's a little bit of resentment that he would not work for them again, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's really interesting, because that means both Hammond and Newman have actually worked in their own way with the core before. Interesting.
Probably why we get along.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably went to the same work convention or whatnot. No,
probably different
I'm going to
sectors. Yeah.
Different sectors for sure. Yeah. From there, I'm going to pass the mic to Medevac to tell us about him and his character.
Why, thank you. Just as a side note, have you noticed when somebody hurts a leg or something, it affects the voice? Because when they ring at work, they go, "Oh, I've hurt my leg and I can't come in." Hi, everybody. I'm Medevac, and I play James Minsk. He is he's a captain. He's the captain. He grew up at an orbital station above a desert planet, and he would spend many a time, once he got to the appropriate age, going down and mingling with the desert folk and learning ways.
The lady folk.
Boom, 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 boom. And learning the ways and the street skills that they had, and mingling with certain gangs. Now, he is the group's, he's the leader, he's the captain. He is not shy about telling people this. He's very cocksure and confident. He's damn good with a ship, and he's damn good with a pistol. He has a little pistol that is fixed to his wrist, and when he flexes a tendon, this pistol comes out. And he doesn't like to use it, but it's a great way to end an argument.
It is. And to give a very lethal handshake.
A very good handshake. Yes, you'll be very careful when you always shake with the left, not the right, unless you don't like them.
And what's Minsk's relationship with the core? Yeah.
Yeah, Minsk and core get on like chalk and cheese, really. Every job that Minsk has done that's gone bad has normally been down to core's interactions and meddling, and maybe finding out what he was doing.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep out of their radar, but he's not happy. He will throw a spanner in their works if he gets a chance to.
Nice.
He's just there to be a pain in their butt. There should not be something that big taking over the universe like it is. And he knows it is.
Yeah.
It's spreading.
So on a scale of 0 to 10,
I'd give it a 9, a good 9, maybe 9 plus.
9 plus, which would be 10.
Yeah. There are some people inside Core that could be redeemable. But as Core as a principle, no, I'd give it a 10, definitely. He hates Core. It
Nice.
shouldn't be there. It's taking away people's freedoms. People shouldn't be allowed.
What was that bang then?
That was me banging my desk.
Oh, that's
as a principle.
I can't hear. I can't.
Is your desk a bass drum?
Yeah.
It's about that thick.
Right. I'm just making some notes. I like that idea that any mission that's ever gone wrong appears to be the fault of Core. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Anything that went wrong.
So I like them the best.
Yeah, you're actually and I could probably believe that because Newman's was a law enforcer, but he is with the law, and Core has very strict, very regulations. So it's a sort of Newman always seems to me as a person who follows rules. I don't know whether or not that's right or not.
It is true, and that's probably why he eventually it took longer for him to grow to dislike them. It's because you do enough things, and it's like, wait, this order's actually kind of suspicious now. You guys sure do it, Newman?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's interesting that Newman and Hammond worked for them or had some interaction with them, which is going to be really interesting. As if we get further on today, we might not get to that part today, but it might be the next adventure when something comes up. And Minsk, yeah, you're sort of like dead. It's almost like hatred. 9 to 10. Just to let you know, Purdy, just so people know, because nobody passed the mic on to me, I play Purdy. Purdy is a robot. She's a medical robot. She is quite she talks a lot, sometimes at the most opportune times. She is a very good medic, and she can also provide the party with scans, things about research, etc., etc. However, she sometimes, like I said, speaks at the most unopportune time. And Purdy, being a robot, of course, has no feeling towards Core at all. She has no feelings at all. She feels nothing. She can actually be shot, and it would do a damage that hopefully Hammond can repair, but basically that's it. She can work, just so you know, she can't work underwater, she can't work in space, but she can survive where there's no oxygen, i.e., if suddenly there was gas coming in to the room, she can actually survive that. She doesn't need air or oxygen to breathe or anything like that, but she does need to be recharged every 2 weeks, and she does not like using public conveniences to plug in, because we all know what lurks in public data trails and electronics. Okay then, so the party started off with a complete memory wipe. They know who they are, they know each other, they know the order of things, but what happened, they don't really know. However, they have started to piece things together. And what I'm going to provide here, rather than giving a huge explanation about what's happened, I'm going to share those key points to everybody. So they found a probe on the planet that they crash landed on. The probe was emanating a signal. They found it, and when Hammond and Persephone cracked the code, they realized that it was actually the party's code that was being transmitted. And there was 3 sort of like key points that came out of that. They then hitched a ride back on the Celeste, which is piloted by Geordie Jacks, whose nickname is JJ, who's now a contact for Minsk. And Carly was the sort of like the soldier type, the person in charge, the bodyguard, who's now a contact for Newman. And then Persephone was the techie girl, and she's a contact for Hammond. When they got back to Arid, which is the main settlement in this system, they found Purdy. Purdy knew who they were. All three of them have chips inside, so Purdy can actually read their vital signs. However, Purdy herself remembers nothing from any time from them leaving the planet. That's it. And after some checking, she has had her memory or her data completely wiped. There is not a block in there or anything like that. Any important information has been wiped. They do have accommodation on Arid, which Purdy took them to. However, on their way, they were followed. And I think it was Minsk who saw it. Was that right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then Minsk and Newman set off to try to corner this person, and in the end did so. And he was scouting or following them for a fixer or fence called Benny McDougal. And they had planned to go and see Benny the next day. Okay.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. That's it. So, and Mr. Pickles and Captain Kangaroo are experiencing, they're so immersed in their role playing because they're living on, the characters are on Arid, which is a hot desert planet, and they're just immersing themselves in the atmosphere. So they know exactly what that planet feels like now. That is exactly how hot it is. All the places, buildings, there's no buildings at all. The whole settlement is made out of shipping cargo boxes or crates. That's what it's all made of, either 2 stories high or not. The party have 2 stories, and yeah, that's where we left you. And I did say, I think you all rolled your 2d6s, yeah, last adventure, and got some credits.
Yes, that's right. We did.
Yeah. Cool. So you've got that now, and I left it up to you to talk about equipment, okay? Because you will have some equipment in this place. So is there anything that you want to tell me about the equipment that you think I need to know about, or anything you think is the game master going to let me get away with this? You know, that,
yes.
Well, you go for it. Whoever's got anything that they want to run past me.
Well, I wanted to grab some more shotgun shells since I don't have like a barrel in my shotgun.
Yeah. So ammunition is quite readily available, and especially for your low-tech shotgun, that's 2 for a penny. So I roughly think it's going to be almost like, what, 5% of the normal cost of something per round or something like that. That would be fun.
I was hoping I could have a flashlight that's heavy enough to hit somebody over the head.
Sorry, I was drinking coffee. Yeah, well, anything can hit somebody over the head with it. So that,
I want a heavy flashlight though.
yeah, so generally anything like that. Your fist does 1d3, if you remember. Anything like that would do 1d4 damage. So it's a little bit better than your fist. It wouldn't be as strong as a club, mainly because unless you wanted something like a kosh, that then does automatic stun location. You can.
I mean, I have my stun baton. I wanted to have a flashlight on hand that
so
could light things up and hit people hard.
That's absolutely fine. Just to let you know that they can run on batteries, but their batteries they will be charged forever. They don't run out. They are, of course, susceptible to things like EMFs and things like that, you know, because they're electrical. But apart from that, it's going to be around forever. And it probably gives, it's a flashlight you want, a torch, isn't it? So it'd be a single beam. Yeah. That's absolutely. Has the option to be turned into a flicker. as well in case of emergencies, like a distress beacon, you know, a light.
Oh.
So it has that availability. It also has a red mode that you can switch the light from white light to red, just in case you want to go in when you're developing your pictures or something like that. I don't know, you know, it's just what it comes with. So it has 3 modes to it. Yeah. Anything else?
I only have one more thing. I just wanted to grab a deck of cards off of our table because I assume in this, you described it as like the shipping container type buildings.
Yeah.
We probably don't have much entertainment, so I figured that's probably what we do a lot is play cards.
Yeah.
So I'll just grab my deck of cards, and that's all I need.
Are there normal cards? Or are they
They're from
doctored?
my home planet, I think. They're rather weathered and used. A lot of the cards are bent. But otherwise, it's a normal deck.
I think Captain Kangaroo's has melted. he's no longer on his.
I heard him walk into the kitchen.
He's like, just melted away. I didn't know whether or not you had melted, Captain. That you slowly melted away.
Sorry, I had to grab my notes from the other room.
I thought you were going to say your nose, Dad. You know, you sound so
I had to do that too.
poorly. I have to say, I'm so glad we're doing this over the internet and not in real life.
Yeah, I prefer it.
Okay.
For anybody.
Yeah. Anything else that anybody wants to run past me?
Yeah, I have a
Go
few
for it.
things. As the technological whiz of the group, I'm gonna have some creative ideas. So last time during the last game, you said that you gave me a few options for different drones or bots we can have.
Yep.
I chose to have a light surveillance drone and a light
Nice.
security drone as my 2 options.
Nice.
But I would probably want to probably dabble a little bit with their stuff. On both of them, I'm going to put on if I could find somewhere like high, high streamed. We call them like flashers or something.
Hang on. So
Strobe lights.
all the drones come with a set amount of modules fitted to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, your light surveillance drone has a float module, a comm module, and a skill switch module. Okay, so that's the maximum amount of modules it can have. So if you want to dabble with it, you would have to remove a module to input a new module into it.
Got it.
Just to let you know, it also has a security level. All drones do. Robots do as well. And they also have like a skill connected with that, you know, in the order of to roll against people being hacked into it. So what was the 2 that you wanted? Surveillance
and security, light security drone.
Right. So what I'm going to do, that's a really good choice because they're actually right next to each other in the document. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of those.
Okay.
And then I'll stick it in the Discord. Now, there is something that the modules are quite set, but there is something that you can do if you wish. Because if you can see in the Discord, both of them have objectives. Okay? So these are the objectives that they actually do. Okay, so it's almost like, you know, sure as you release your light surveillance drone, its objective is to area surveillance and to report intruders. Okay, so you would sort of like basically instruct it to keep an eye around the building, say, your accommodation. And when intruders got into it, it would report to you. Same with the security droid. That actually notice it's got one of its modules is an ID scanner, so it can scan. It can't necessarily, if somebody's got their ID scanner hacked or turned off, whatever, it can't scan it, but it still knows somebody is there. And there is to identify visitors, So, for example, it would recognize your security chips and let you in. Stop unauthorized persons. Notice it actually has a weapon. It has a weapon in it. It has a combat style of 50% to shoot things. And so it will stop unauthorized people. No robotics law is installed in that. So it doesn't follow the normal robot wars. Now, what you can do, if you wish, is that you can tinker with that. So you can start to change the objectives. So what happens is that you would make an opposed roll with your electronics against its security level, because although it's your drone, you have to overcome that in order to tinker. And then you can change it within reason. So that's something that you can. I'll go on to Medivac, and then you can decide whether or not you want to do anything now with it, or whether or not you just want to leave it and see how they operate, and then see whether or not you can change them.
Okay, go ahead.
Anything else you want, Hammond?
I probably have to jerry-rig it a bit, but I was hoping to create some sort of a magnetic grenade.
Okay, so that would be a craft skill. So that would be like a professional skill, craft demolitions, and therefore.
So I have demolitions. I don't have craft demolitions.
Yeah, so you have your skill at the moment is to put it how to set up the demolitions. So it blows things and things like that. So what you would have to do is use 5 experience points next time to get craft. So, and this is for everybody. It works exactly the same as Mithras. So in order to tinker with something, that's fine. But to actually create something new, then that always requires a craft roll. And then that's it. So you can invest in that as you go across. And just to let you know, because I can imagine Minsky's thinking, oh, can I craft a starship in my spare time? Yes, well, you could, but
out of Lego bricks.
Yeah, it would. Well, you could make it out to Lego bricks. Then Hammond could jury rig it to make it. No, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Okay, Mince. Sorry, go for it, Hammond. Yeah.
No. I just thinking that. So it wouldn't be an explosive grenade. It's so my magnetic grenade will be something that would attract all metal to it. Well, as it goes off,
that's going to be. Is it an explosive?
No, it's something like it will be. One side will be magnetic to the ground or the surface, and then the other side will have a strong magnetic pole to it. So, like, say if there's a group of people with metal guns, the guns would then be forced towards the grenade. So it might be a better way of,
I like that.
I think it would be a good way to control a room.
No, I was thinking in the sense that I like that. I could use that.
Yeah.
Because that would also attract Purdy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And
it would attract all metal.
And all your guns.
My shotgun's made of wood. I'm kidding. That would be.
I think that would be really
a pathetic login.
Interesting.
All my weapons are imaginary.
What I don't want to go down, I'll need to do some research about what's the strongest magnet is. Because what I don't want to go down the road of is Magneto in the X-Men. Sort of like. Is somebody
watching the new Fast and Furious trailer?
That's actually that's not what got me. It was actually Guardians of the Galaxy. He
with the little ball on the floor. Yes.
Yeah. And it attracts the guns down to them.
That's interesting.
That's what got me.
We can leave that one with
me, good idea.
And then I can think about it and think about how to actually make it work. Because I think
a localized thing, wouldn't it? You'd be like have a certain range, and that would be it.
Yeah, and I think they would have to have like a brawn resistance roll.
Yeah.
And the only reason I would say that is because I think you should have it as well. So when I slide it towards you people as characters, I wouldn't want to say, "Oh yeah, your gun's now all on that pad." You know, so that'd be an interesting. Do you know? I think what I've got an idea brewing. Hi Axiom, how you doing? Thank you for my sticker, by the way. I think maybe we can weave that into the core, in the sense that that might have been something that you were actually working on before you left the core.
My military technology.
Yeah. And so it might be that the core has that already, and you're trying to create because they've got vast more resources to actually work on that. So leave that with me. I've made a note on my secrets list.
I'll have more creative ideas as we go along, but
so I'm putting Hammond, Guardian of the Galaxy, magnetic, attraction.
Maybe it'd be more people act more like a claymore than anything, not a grenade. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Is that idea of that disc that works? Yeah. Okay then. So I'll work on that, and we'll see what the core has, and then we can adapt it out from there. Okay, Minsk.
Minsk has absolutely nothing apart from the clothes on his back and what he's wearing, purely because he had a ship where he stored his things, and now he does not. The only saving grace he has was the. How do we have money in this? Is it like a cred stick?
Yeah, it's virtually there's no real money at all.
No.
So it's almost like cryptocurrency. It's just sort of like somewhere, you know. So you can you can flash credit card things to do like contactless stuff. Just to let you know, some like clubs in the system, not on Arid, but some clubs will automatically deduct entrance fees as you walk through the door, for example.
That's really good.
But you have no opportunity to stop that. You know,
when you walk through the door, you don't have a choice. Yeah.
You know, so they can virtually decide how much they want to.
Oh right, it's not a set amount. It's like no,
because you get the posh clubs.
Yeah.
You know, and basically
you'll know beforehand how much it's going to be, won't you?
Well, you would hope so, but you know, rich people don't have to bother with how much it is. You know?
I will one day for that rich person. So yes, he literally has all he has on him, and a bed.
Okay.
He's just got a bit of money put aside, but that was for, you know, paying people
off.
Yes. Find out new sources, finding a new job, that sort of thing.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so he's a little bit like, I need a ship.
Yeah, you know, and
need a ship.
Just to let you know, there is something in store for Minsk in today's adventure.
A ship in a store for 1,000 credits?
No, it's not. But there is something that you will have. Okay then, so we're off to Benny McDougal's at 11 o'clock today. It's the idea that he's your fixer, a fence. He seems to know you, okay, but why you're not too sure.
I was going to say, we didn't actually know who he was. It's just Benny, wasn't it?
Well, you do know that he's a fence or a fixer. And you also have no idea why he put a tail on you from the starport to your accommodation. Newman was quite intimidating. And we've chatted about using the influence skill as intimidation as well, and we're going to see how it goes, rather than introducing another skill and another skill. So, because then we thought, if you want intimidation, you also want interrogation. So it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So keep the rules as simple as we possibly can. So you are going now. I'm assuming that you're all going.
I was hoping so.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and Purdy as well.
She was at 1% power, wasn't she?
No, she's got enough time for about a week before she needs to recharge, and she's hoping that Minsk finds something, because Minsk is the captain, so generally he is responsible for Purdy, and hopefully she's hoping that Minsk might find some way to recharge her.
We're actually working on building a cart so the ravage runs out. So it'll be fine.
Okay then. So are you taking Purdy with you or not?
No. I personally don't think so, because I know the power level she's on, and I'll be like, Purdy, I don't think we'll need you here. And to be honest, your bedside manner is not the best, and I don't want you saying naughty things to Benny, just in case, because we don't know who Benny is really.
James.
And besides,
James.
Sorry, Purdy. Yeah.
I'm hurt. To feel that you would think that I cannot conduct myself in a reasonable manner in social context, as people would say, I'm hurt to the bottom.
Purdy, you and I both know, and I love you to bits, Purdy, but you have no feelings. You cannot be hurt.
Of course, James.
But I'll put my hand on it on
a chest,
shoulder, on a chest, on a shoulder, and I'll say, Purdy, I respect you. You are one of us. But as I say, and you know this very well, you do have a habit of saying what's on your mind.
It is so helpful that, James, that you cut me to the core. I have no feelings. That is because I am a robot, and robots have no feelings. If you feel that I am not able to help you on this venture, I am more than happy to remain here and laugh if you get shot. Please,
Minsk
James.
will look at
James,
Hammond.
please don't stutter, James. Use your words.
Purdy, no. Stay here. Look after this place. We'll be back shortly.
James, I am not a dog. I am a robot. If you do not wish me to accompany you on this venture, then I will stay here.
That's fine, Purdy. Thank you for looking after our place. You really want to come, don't you, Purdy?
I think we're going to give Purdy some of that anxiety from not being around us. We keep abandoning her.
I know. I'm thinking the same thing, because we left her to go to starship on my spaceship and get blown up. And she survived because of that. I saved her life.
Saved her life. She nearly drowned. She just seems to be stood. Almost as if she's powered down. She's just
powered down. Yep. Yeah. Do that faceless guilt trip.
Before we make it to this person, I just have one idea. I was wondering if I can attach to the weapon module on my security drone, put a little laser pointer on that weapon.
For
well, I'm going to use it as kind of a bluff to say that we have like a high-powered sniper on aimed at. This is really just a bluffer for our safety.
Okay.
But
so I'm assuming that you're taking the surveillance drone with you.
Yeah.
Therefore.
But it won't be in the same building. It will be just like I'll put it have it on the roof across the way or something like that.
Yeah. So well, the first thing then, so you need to roll your electronics to make sure that it's fixed. You can probably find in your box a laser pointer and some masking tape, etc., to attach it. Do you just want to attach it, or do you want it to be operational through the drone? Attaching it and having it on is no problem at all. However, if you want to start to, because the drone doesn't have that in its command structure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to start altering the command structure, then that would be a harder role and take longer to do. Sticking it on with a piece of masking tape is no problem at all. The only thing that it would affect would be the relative speed of the drone.
And you'd also have the fact that the drone would have this big red thing as it flies around, burning people's eyes out. But people would go, "Oh look, there's a red light going across the sky."
Just to let you know, it's not high tech enough in arid. You know, there's not a lot of drones flying around. It's not sort of like that high tech.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so do you want to just attach it with masking tape, or do you actually want to start to tap it into the control module so it can actually turn it on and off?
I think it'd be a lot based off what my role is going to be.
Well, yeah. So just to let you know, so attaching it with a masking tape doesn't require a roll. That's absolutely fine. To actually start to mess around with the electronics, then that would take a roll. And once you've started with it, that's it. So if you mess up the roll, then the drone is out of action until you can roll again to fix it.
Got it. I'm just going to roll for it. Screw it.
Okay then. So it's going to be electronics roll, and it's going to be a hard roll. And the general idea of this is that it will take you about an hour. The time period is an hour for it. Which drone are you putting it on?
The security drone.
Okay, cool. Now that has a security level. Its percentage is 50%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For that, so roll away.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna use my one luck of the day, or no, I have a few more, but I have two more. But I'm gonna roll
Re-roll it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Minx and I are playing cards.
Okay,
all right,
so you sort of like start work on this, and you get it, and
there was an attempt.
Yeah, and you sort of like get the top of the drone off, and you're sort of like trying to match these wires in, and you've been going at it for quite a while, and it almost like gets to the point that it's time to leave, and you say, "Oh, drat." You know, this would have been so helpful, and you sort of like leave it open. So until you fix it now, either with an electronics roll, it's sort of like open and out of operation. You still do have your light surveillance drone. Are you taking that with you or not?
Yeah, but I want to make sure that when we get to the place, it won't be right on near us. I just want it to tell me as we're entering, like, the amount of bodies in the area, if there's people
so it has a bit
watching us.
It has but its objective is area surveillance, report intruders.
I will eventually change that up then.
Yeah, I mean you can put it on surveillance mode around this accommodation.
Yeah, I'll do that for now, and in time I'll switch. I'll change it up to potential aggressors.
So you would have to maybe swap the module out for something like the security has, like an ID scanner. Well, if you're doing that, to be honest with you, I would just put the security drone
exactly.
on watch, because
actually I'm going to change up the surveillance drone to it being a hacking drone. That's my plan.
Okay.
Right. So as Hammond's walking through the accommodation to the door, or the cargo crate, he'll glance at this drone that's kind of got its top open and a little bit of smoke possibly coming from a wire somewhere, and say, "Hammond, what are you doing?"
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out some tinkering I can do with these drones. Are we going to see that man very soon?
Yeah, we are. Is it good to go?
Actually, yeah, I could get back to this. I don't really need to continue. Oh, you're
You-
okay.
you sure?
Just need to grab my blaster just in case, and we'll head
Uh,
you off.
I'm going to lean over, look at this little wisp of smoke coming up, and say, Hammond,
Yeah.
if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. And with that, I'll just move on to the door.
And as you file out, you sort of like file past Purdy, who's appears to be powered down, but as you sort of like walk out, she sort of like says to you, I hope you all stay safe and suffered no punctures or large gashes in your fragile human body that may require first aid.
Ouch.
The door automatically locks.
I was going to say minstrel not to hear that. I just keep walking.
And so you, as you go outside, I'm going to say that the person who followed you is there to escort you to Benny McDougal. So he knows, so you get there on time, etc. And you go, the whole of Arid is set up very much like a grid formation, like Milton Keynes in the UK, or things like New York, etc., that all have this grid section. It's about 5 cargo carriers by about 2 or 3, because they're a lot longer down one end. So they're about 5 across, and just sort of like 2 next to each other, back to back. And as you go out, just like before, it's very dusty. It's very hot, 11 o'clock, high noon's pretty soon, when the sun's going to be, the twin suns are going to be at its highest. You probably have your own set of polarized goggles that is quite common in Arid to wear, plus the face mask or the piece of cloth over the bottom of over your mouth and your nose. And so it's, a lot of people look very much incognito as they're walking around, as do you. Remember, law levels are quite low here, so nobody's really bothering you with your blasters or anything. But you do notice that there is a sort of peacekeeping patrol around. They, Newman, I think you have a law skill.
I do. I have very good knowledge of the law.
Yeah.
Well, very might be an exaggeration.
Yeah, so roll that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you, as you sort of like look around, although the law level is quite low, you don't think that firing your blaster in the street is going to bring some kind of repercussion. It's not completely Mad Max. There is some stability provided by the local law enforcers. They look quite well provided for. They seem to have some kind of body armor on, and they have heavy blasters rather than normal blasters, which have a little bit more of a kick, but also can penetrate armor a lot more. They always walk around in 2s, and they seem to be on the patrol. They also seem to be moving people on who are just hanging around. They look like the beggars or something like that. They're sort of like moving them around, but there's no sort of like riotous behavior. Arid seems to be, although it's low tech and low law, it's not a hell for leather sort of like place that you can shoot somebody in the street and nobody's going to ask you a question about it. And you sort of like walk through, and your guide takes you to Benny McDougal's place. And his place is quite unique. It seems to have the basic structure of the shipping cargoes, but it has add-ons. So the front area, it has like a porch built out, You notice also that, unlike yours, most of these have some kind of aircon device on. Benny's place actually has windows, for want of a better word. They appear to be heavily polarized, so you can't see in at all. They're just like black. But it appears that parts of the shipping container have been cut out to allow these polarized glass to be there. You also notice it's 2 stories high, and there's quite a hefty aircon unit on the back, that you figure is probably keeping the whole area very cool. There's 2 bouncers, for want of a better word, on the door. They seem to have no visible armor, but they are carrying blasters just like you, and they don't seem to address you at all. They address your guide, and he sort of like says, "They're here to see Benny." And you go, and you go through, and inside there's like a desk, and there's a young woman who's very smartly dressed, not suitable for the weather at all. She's obviously having a life indoors under aircon, and she has a small monitor in front of her. And as you pass through the door, she turns around and says, "Oh, Mr. Newman, Mr. Minks, and Mr. Hammond, thank you so much for coming. Benny is in a meeting at the moment, but I'm sure he will be available shortly. Do take a seat." And she gestures over to the waiting area where there's some couches and 2 artificial palm plants in the corner. You do realize that the information has been given from your ID scanners that are implanted in you, and that is something that Purdy also uses to read off your vitals. If at any time you want to remove these, then that is possible. It would require Purdy or somebody similar to Purdy to actually perform some kind of surgical operation. There's no, the ID scanner is removed rather than tampered with. If it wants to be tampered with to project the wrong information, then that would be done by some kind of medical role linked to some computer role and the all electronics role. That would have to overcome the security level of the ID scanner. And you're sort of like sat there, and could you all make perception checks for me? Right.
Can my surveillance drone do a perception check?
Yours. So is it? Did you leave it at the?
Wait, did I?
I thought you
Yeah,
left.
I might have. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
I'm
blaming this right now.
So Newman's made it, and that's
You got
it.
your surveillance friend.
I'm too busy watching to see if I can find a drink of something.
Yeah. Just to let you know, remember Purdy actually makes a perception check at 1 level easier. Because of the electronics that she has installed. So Newman, you hear this. You can probably gesture to everybody else. There seems to be some kind of an argument going on in an adjoining room. There's quite a powerful Scots accent coming from the room, and everything seems to be quite abrupt and to the point. And at that moment, a door opens, and you hear some Scottish swearing that I'm not going to do for you, as this man sort of like storms out looking very cross. He seems to be having some kind of salvage uniform on, or gear, or miner or something like that, not very high tech. And the door slams, behind. He comes past you, grumbling away, and the woman behind the desk sort of like lets him go and then smiles at you, as if almost like a reassuring smile to say, "Don't worry, everything is fine." And at that point, the intercom buzzes, and she talks into her earpiece, into the mic that she has there, and then she says to you, "Mr. McDougall, we'll see you now, gentlemen." And she pushes a chair away and she gestures you to follow her. And she opens the door, a double door, and she opens it with quite a flourish, as if it's a grand entrance. And she steps in, and at the far end of the room, there is a rather portly looking Scottish guy sat behind a desk with various computers on. You notice down one room, there's a whole load of screens, some showing FT index share prices. One seems to have a continuous news feed on, and another one seems to be some kind of comedy show. And you can also see that there must be cameras situated around this place, because there's a camera feed of outside, round the back, up on there as well. And as the woman says, "Mr. Newman, Mr. Mincing, Mr. Hammond to see you, Mr. McDougall." And he sort of like pushes his chair around and stands up. Yeah, go for it, Minx.
Can I make an insight, see if I recognise him?
Yes.
Or if anything comes to mind.
By all means. This will be a formidable roll, but go for it. Oh, I forgot my luck point.
Can't forget that.
No, so I don't remember him from the past.
Or you could use a luck point.
I could use a luck point, couldn't I? Do you know what? I do feel that I need to know who Benny is.
You might get some information. You might not.
Do it.
I might not. But
Do it.
I will use a luck point. I'll reverse it.
Okay then.
Reverse it.
Yeah. Benny definitely looks familiar to you, Minsk. You feel that you've had some interaction with him beforehand, quite recently. He's you remember his voice, his mannerisms, also the feeling that he's quite a good negotiator, and etc. And he's sort of like, "Oh, gentlemen, come and sit down here. Where you been? Where you all been?" And he comes round and he perches on the desk in front of him, gestures to some chairs. There's one, there's only two, but the woman brings another one over for you to sit down. He says, "Sit down, gentlemen, sit down." He says, "Where you been? You had me worried."
Benny, I don't appreciate you sending some bad tracker to try to find out where we are or to follow us.
Hey, wait. He says, "Hang on a minute." He says, "Before you start having a go at me, you have to understand the situation here. I give you a job, well, a private job with the high amount of credits. You take it, and then all of a sudden you're leaving planet, and then I get a communication saying the Cicado's been blown to smithereens with no trace of any of the crew."
Do you know, we've had a really bad few days.
And you think I haven't? And he sort of like says, "And you even left your medical bot. Just left behind."
She has told us this many times over. Let me be honest with you, Benny.
Hang on, before you say anything, Minz, what are you trying to achieve with this social interaction?
I want to...
Because I need to assign it a role.
Yeah, I don't want to give him the upper hand in a sense, but I also want to try to explain that we're not complete and utter idiots and we can't remember what happened.
Okay, so that...
Because we don't. Our focal point is we're working blind here. We woke up on a planet. We have no idea what job he gave us.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So
I'm not going to lie about it. I'm just going to be trying to be as genuine as I can.
yeah. So you're going to tell the truth then about what's happened. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Then. So he sort of like listens to.
But in a cocksure kind of way, sorry.
Yeah, and he sort of like listens to what you're saying. Basically, you're not trying to deceive him or influence him in any way.
No.
So he sort of like listens to your story and then says, "But you understand how I have to put a tail on you."
Well, do you know, it would have been nice to have somebody better tailing us. I mean, whoever you sent, we spotted him in a moment.
That's all
And
right.
to be fair,
That's not a problem.
no,
And
well, to be fair, it was in your benefit that we spotted him,
He-
because if we hadn't have done, we wouldn't have known who you were.
he touches his headpiece and says, "Note to self: shoot him. Shoot Ben when you next see him."
Benny, I kind of want your help to decipher the situation. Can you remind us what was the job that you wanted us to do for you before we left?
Yeah. Roll your influence roll.
Yeah.
See whether or not he actually wants to spend time.
There's no chance I could use.
Nice.
Oh, never mind.
Nice one.
Beautiful.
He's quite happy. You have that silver tongue, Hammond, and he sort of like is happy to tell you about what happens.
It's a fellow Scot.
Yeah, just to let you know, because you've got the critical role as well, you are going to be able to ask, and be careful, okay? You're going to be able to ask 3 questions of him that he will automatically answer truthfully to you, okay? He's going to tell you what he knows, but there are some other facts that he knows that he's not sharing with you. But because of your critical influence role, he will answer 3 questions, okay? And it will be the first 3 questions you ask, and don't try to make them. This is not a D&D wish spell, okay?
Yeah.
It's just sort of like ask the questions, and then that'll be it. Okay, then. So basically, he starts to talk to you, and he sort of like gestures you to sit down. And just before he starts talking, you hear a pew from somewhere in the building,
Poor Ben.
and he sort of like says, "Look, Hammond, I need to be honest with you here. You come in here, your first ever job with me, and I give you a job from the private bulletin board. Now, you know those private bulletin boards are for those rich people, those people who like to remain anonymous but are ready to pay the huge amounts. Your first job with me, this was the first job you did, and I put my trust in every single one of you that you would be able to do this and actually make sure that you actually brought in some cash for myself. I would take my normal cut, 20%. Yeah. And what happens? You leave Arid to go somewhere, even though the point of contact was in Arid itself. And then without a word to anybody, you suddenly go to the starport, you leave your medic robot behind, and you hop on to a ship and disappear. It was, to be honest with you, it was quite unusual. And then I get a report saying your ship, the Cicada, has been destroyed. Actually, and he goes round to your desk and he types some buttons on his computer keyboard, and he sort of like scans something, and he says, correction, vaporized. The report says vaporized. Go for it. 3 questions.
What was the job that you asked us to do for these secretive, rich employers.
He says, Hammond, you know how the deal goes. I give you the code to the private bulletin board. You have a look at it. All I can say is that your point of contact was to go to the Dry Gypsy.
When we left on the Cicada and left you back here and of course our droid, do you have any knowledge of why we did it? You know, was there any other employers that
No,
we were
he says he had no
for?
knowledge. Like he said, you went out to contact, you went somewhere, probably the Dry Gypsy, and then you left town, and then you came straight back from town, straight to the ship, ditched your medical robot, and flew off. There was no communication given to anybody that Benny is aware of.
Question number 3. Is there any way that you would give us another job so that way not only can we repay you for the, you know, for your lack of trust in us, but at the same time us be able to make some cash on our own so that way we can get our own ship and be able to continue on with the things we need to do?
He's quite happy for you to maintain a contact with him and for him to provide you with job. He's not too sure about private jobs anywhere, but he wants to say almost like, you know, the important thing is to find out what went on. He wants a report before he's happy to give you another job. That, you know, what he wants to know: why did you leave Arid? Why did you blast off? Why did you leave Purdy? And most importantly, how come your ship was vaporized, but 3 of you are still here?
Yeah.
Just to let you know. Oh no, I'm not going. Yeah. Just so you know, all of a sudden through your comm communication things, you hear Purdy's voice. The Dry Gypsy is a local drinking hole where people go and drink. It is a human pastime that I've never understood at all. Some even overdo it and become extremely drunk and fall down or empty their stomach over the floor.
There'd be a little mutter at the side of my mouth saying, "Thank you, Purdy."
Oh, the pleasure was all mine, James.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
All
Purdy.
mine.
Benny, so you have a job in mind that we can possibly take care of right now? Of course, after this, we're probably going to go to the Dry Gypsy and maybe walk back on our steps, maybe see if maybe we can figure out why we happened to leave a few days ago.
He says, that's a damn good idea. You need to do that. We need to figure out what you've been doing over the past week. To me, it's very suspicious. And let's face it, I'm not going to give my best jobs to some people who just keep jumping ship.
I completely understand.
Benny. We didn't jump ship. We don't know what happened. We did whatever we did, and then we woke up in a desert and had to be rescued.
No, actually, Benny, how do you know that we weren't trying to complete the job, but we failed? Maybe we had to leave with our ship because the employer asked us to, and then obviously something happened during.
He sort of like he says to you, he says to all of you, he says, "Are you telling me that's what happened, or you're trying to make me believe something that you want me to ignore?" He says,
Benny,
"Why did you actually leave the planet?"
But it had been a reason. We don't. But the thing is, we do not remember.
Find out. He says, "Find out. If you want a job from me, then find out what's been going on." He says, "I'm not happy to give you all jobs if you disappear or lose your memory all the time. It doesn't make for very good business."
Benny, let me ask you a question. Can we find out what job we took by going to the message board again with a PIN number?
He says, once jobs are accepted, the bulletin board is wiped. That's why it's called private. He says, your only point of contact that was on the board was a young lady needed help and wanted a crew or salvagers. He said, and you were given the job. The meeting place for the Johnson was the Dry Gypsy. End of story.
So young lady needed help. That's a little bit more information that helps us. Thank you, Benny.
He says, this meeting's over. Have a good day.
Benny, we will be back. We will prove ourselves to be the dastardly scoundrels that you know and love.
Means the meeting's over. Stop your waffling and get out my office.
So, as Misk is going to the door, he'll like wave. See you soon. Off he goes.
As you go out, you notice that there's some kind of hover stretcher being taken past the office. There seems to be a cover on it, and when you you notice the receptionist is quite upset, and she sort of like says, "My boyfriend was shot for no reason at all."
That's terrible. What's your name?
She sort of like says, "I'm sorry, I'm not in the market."
I won't take this thing further, although I was going to. My condolences to you. There's plenty more fish in the sea.
She sort of like takes out a synthetic tissue and blows her nose in it and throws it into the bin, where the bin recycles it and, you know, degrades it just to fine powder that then gets sucked off somewhere. And as you sort of like leave and heading back, we'll say back to your accommodation, you hear in your headset, very interesting. The ship was vaporized and communicated. By whom? I think I must have actually not heard all that conversation. Maybe a solar flare or something like that. Who did the news come from?
Is it possible for a solar flare to vaporize a ship? Purdy, what could do this?
Newman, something quite powerful. However, I was wondering who collaborated or calibrated or who told them. Who was the report filed by?
This is the thing that everybody knows that my ship was blown, disintegrated. But nobody knows who did it or why.
Well, what Purdy's insinuating is that the only people that should know is the people who found the remains of the ship. So the scavengers.
That's like JJ. Yeah.
JJ and the people that saved us from the previous planet. So what she's getting at is, how did everyone else find out?
I was, Arthur, thank you for that. I was merely just wanting to know who filed the report. Maybe it could have given us an interesting lead to follow.
Typically, who does file reports like that, Birdie?
There's a pause, and she says, Arthur, anyone can file a report.
So, Purdy, where are these reports kept?
Probably on the computer system within the accommodation. Please tell me.
So
please tell me.
Just have a look.
Please tell me you asked.
I did ask. Yes, I asked. What?
Like I say, I am not too sure because the communication might have blotted out certain parts of the meeting. I will go back and re-listen to the meeting to make sure.
Please do so, Purdy.
So you head back to your accommodation, and you have a lead. There's something about the Dry Gypsy, and does anybody actually have a research role? Did anybody decide to? You all should have it now, shouldn't you? Yeah.
My research is done on the
Yes.
streets.
Yeah, so you can research on the streets to see more about the Dry
Oh.
Gypsy if you wish. Is that something that you would like to do, Newman?
I actually had a question. Research role was what 2 stats at the beginning?
Int plus power, is it powered? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever I popped in the...
Int plus power.
Yeah, in plus power, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Continue, Mr. Pickles.
Okay, Mr. Pickles, because...
I'll go for it.
I was going to say, because Newman is asking on the street, then rather than collecting information via the net, etc., it will be your streetwise skill augmented by your research, rather than the opposite way around.
Could I go with Newman and maybe help him and assist with my streetwise?
Well, the way I see it, we have 2 leads. We have the bar, of course, and to go and ask like questions of, did you see us with people here recently to the bartender? But then there's also what we just found out is who filed the report, is a second lead. So it might be good to have one of us researching, perhaps, while
And
2 of us go to the bar, or
maybe providing a donation to the lost tracker who was brutally shot for not doing his job.
That's an awful thing to happen. Awful.
It's terrible, really. I can't wait for us to forget about such a terrible tragedy. Anyways,
speaking of the bar.
So Newman, roll your streetwise augmented. If Minsk is going with you, then Minsk will augment your role, because I presume Newman's role is higher than Minsk's.
My unaugmented, my streetwise is a 65.
Yeah.
So,
I'll let you have that one.
Okay, so are you two off out to sort of like find out information about the Dry Gypsy? Yeah.
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 And ideally do some questioning once we find the Dry Gypsy.
If you want to use my augmentation, it's 51%.
I have to. I like using the augment button. So, okay.
And before we go out, I want to say to Hammond, any chance you can fix your baby?
My security drone? Yeah, I can probably work on that right now.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah.
So this is the information that you find out about the Dry Gypsy. So it's not by going to the Dry Gypsy. It's just, talking to people, approaching people, seeing what shopkeepers and other establishments talk about it. Okay, so you get the idea or the feeling that the Dry Gypsy is quite a seedy drinking hole. It's right on the outskirts of Arid, so it's not a place that is frequented by visitors to Arid at all. It's mostly frequented by salvagers, on-planet salvagers, because mainly they don't have enough money for Starship, so they can't leave, so they're doing very local work. Arid is very much like a mining settlement as well, so there's a lot of miners going around. Many odd people who earn their keep or their living by rather dubious occupations at various houses and on the street. It's not the best place. There seems to be a insinuation that the synth alcohol is actually watered down. It doesn't actually produce real alcohol at all. It's various drinks with synth alcohol added to it. You get the feeling that you have to drink a lot of these to actually get drunk, which seems very logical to you because people going to this place sounds as if they do want to get drunk. And of course, they have to pay a huge amount, therefore, well, not huge, a lot for them to get drunk because they're not just getting drunk after the first drink. The other thing that you do notice, and this comes across very clear, that it doesn't actually open its doors until after the sun's gone down. So about
Can I just say, is the owner called Christoph?
No.
Crossover.
Yay!
About 9 or 10 o'clock at the night, it's when it actually opens. Okay. And then you can go back to the accommodation and share. Okay, it's past. So we'll take our 10-minute break there, and then we'll come back about 22 to see who's going to the Dry Gypsy, if you're going to the Dry Gypsy, and what's going to be your plan when you actually get there. Is it something, what are you going to do? Obviously, all you know is that your contact was there, and then that'll be it. Okay, so if you're watching the stream, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break where Captain Kangaroo and Mr. Pickles are going to go and have a quick shower so they can de-sweat. And I'm going to put a jumper on because I don't know about you, Medivac, but I'm a bit chilly.
It is a bit nippy tonight. Yes,
It's a bit
definitely.
nippy here. We will see you back here in 10 minutes. If you're going away, please come back. I'm missing you already. See you soon. Bum. we are back live now. So yes, Newman, you were saying it's quite a seedy place, the Dry Gypsy, but you know, the person who uses the bulletin boards are quite rich. And when you ask the people about this on the street, you know, would a rich person go there? They literally, oh, I thought that was a giant cat, but it's not, it's a dog.
That's
My
a
little
good
new-
kitty cat.
It's my new puppy. Her name's Addie.
It doesn't look like
You live in a zoo, don't you?
it doesn't look
Yeah.
like a puppy. Is that really
It looks like a little bit.
is
It's
it?
a puppy.
It's beautiful.
Puppy. Look,
I could
Addie, look.
I can hear Medivac's dogs now are getting excited as well.
Yeah, she's tiptoeing around Muscatnails.
Yeah, they Newman, they just laugh at you when you not at you, at the idea. They sort of like when they come down from their laughter, they sort of like saying, "The Dry Gypsy ain't a place for rich people. You know, nobody would go there if they were rich. They'll probably get thugged or mugged as soon as they went in."
That makes sense.
Yeah, so definitely those two pieces of information don't correlate.
Are there rich people around here?
Well, probably one of the richest people are the fixers and the fencers who actually sell things or buy and sell. They're probably the richest, and you can probably imagine that law enforcement is probably being paid by those companies, by those single people to sort of like let things slide. So, but yeah, definitely it's a fixer and fencer world, most definitely. You know,
And they would be they go to their own air conditioned places. They would never go to the Dry Gypsy.
Even the people that you talk to find it very strange that you're asking about it. Not strange as in suspicious, but you know, when you say, "Do you know anything about the Dry Gypsy?" they're saying things like, "Oh, you don't want to be going there, fine man like you. You don't want to be going to the Dry Gypsy. It's for all the layabouts and drunkards and the miners from across the planet. You don't want to go to the Dry Gypsy, believe me." Minsk,
Would I stand out?
Say again, sorry, Newman.
Would I stand out? Like I point to both Minsk and I. Would we stand out?
Well, yeah, you're almost like the fine line, aren't you? Because in one sense, you're some kind of salvagers, and you're not rich. You know, you're definitely not rich. Look at your bank accounts for that.
Middle class.
Yeah, I think.
I know.
I think the reason you might stand out is more that you're not miners or low-level salvagers. You know, that's probably why you would stand out. You know, these miners that are mining on planet probably don't wash their face before they come in for a drink. You know, they probably come in on their work clothes rather than getting changed. So you would stand out, but not as in...
So, in Mills, I don't think you'll get this, but it's like that bar in Zoolander where he meets his dad in Zoolander, and they're all like in the pit outfits with the coal all over their faces.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, it's you don't get dressed up to go to this place.
No. Before we go, guys, I need to. We need to decide what we're going to be asking there, because apparently we were supposed to meet a young lady there.
Yeah.
So we need to find who this lady was. We also need to find maybe if there's any security footage of the place, if there are any cameras in there, so we can see who this person is we had to meet with. This is just, if anybody's got any ideas, I know you're captain, guys, but I cannot think of everything.
All right, so
help.
here's my idea. First, we need to make sure that the bartender who's going to be there is the same bartender that was there when we were there a week ago. The reason why is they're more likely to understand if we were, there with someone or not.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Second, maybe our memory will kind of reconnect some synapses if we were to sit where we were and at least imagine what it was talking to this person. Maybe we can find some memory, and from there, I don't know. Right now we're just kind of hoping for the best.
We are spitballing a little bit here. Yeah, but you've got some good ideas there, Hammond.
Yeah.
Newman.
Here's a sticker.
Yeah. And a lollipop. Hammond, this is your neck of the woods here.
Mm-hmm.
How would you find someone from this place that we don't know who she looks like, or what she looks like, sorry, or what we were doing there?
Well,
not Hammond, sorry, I mean Newman, sorry.
Thanks. I was kind of concerned, but then I was like, you know what?
Just go with it. Yeah.
I don't imagine that there's a lot of lady folk going to that bar, unless they're employed by the bar.
Yeah, yeah, or they want to sell their wares. Just to pick up on one of the things that Hammond says, you do get that there is one owner of the bar. His name is Box, as in Box. You're not too sure why, but people talk all the time about, Box this, Box that, Box the other. It seems to be some kind of nickname, but you're not too sure. But it's definitely a one-person bar. So just to pick up on Hammond's point, it would be the same person, no matter what. Good point. What were you going to say, Newman? Sorry?
I thought I had finished.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
It's just that there's
like you have more to give there, but it's okay. That's fine.
Well, I guess the finishing is like there's probably not going to be that many women there historically. So if we met a woman of money or whatnot, it's most likely that would really narrow down the bartender who it is.
And they've probably got a very good chance of remembering somebody like that. So, if they were rolling, if you said, do you remember a posh young girl or posh lady coming in here with fancy clothes, then their insight roll will probably be very easy because they would see, that person would definitely stick out in a crowd. Definitely. No matter what.
So I say we just play some cards until it's time to go. And head on down there, 10 or 11 p.m.
Okay, you can guess. There's one question. Well, are you all going?
Yes.
Are you leaving
Purdy? No, Purdy.
Are you taking her or not?
It's a bit of a disreputable place, and I would like to have a healing backup.
Well, also Purdy might be able to give us some insight that we weren't able to remember.
Oh,
she's going to tell us everybody's levels of drunkenness.
Yeah,
she's going to point at people and be like, 28% drunk.
like there's some random little walk. It's like, oh, isn't that the woman you talked to last week? Like, thank you, Purdy, for telling us now.
Yeah. She as she goes, she sort of like says, Hammond, please remember your low tolerance level to all forms of alcohol. We don't want to mess in the accommodation like last time.
That was you.
Despite saying that it was Minsk, Hammond, J. Parker, I am completely aware who regurgitated their food and the excess alcohol along the floor. Normal sidearms, normally what you just carry, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you taking anything special with you at all? The twin sons.
Do I have time to
just my friends?
Say again, sorry.
Do I have time to try to repair my light security drone?
Yeah, so you can. Do you wish to repair it, or do you wish to continue with trying to attach the laser sight to it. So just to let you know, because if you want to continue with the laser task thing, because you're redoing the same task, then it increases naturally by 1 difficulty. Or you can just fix it, which would just require probably an easy electronics roll, because you know it's not hard, you know, to do it.
I'll just fix it for now.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay, so roll your electronics roll. Let's see how good you are. Yeah, you sort of like manage to pull off the masking tape and get rid of the laser sight, and yeah, it's ready to go. Are you taking any of your drones with you or not?
No, I security drone could stay here. We should be fine with that.
Is that, are you putting it on alert? Is the security drone working? Yeah, so
yeah,
you know,
I'm going to have it where the surveillance and security drone are contingent with each other, and
yeah, okay, so they're hovering over the your accommodation as you leave, and you lock the accommodation quite easily with the mag lock. And yeah, and you head over to the Dry Gypsy, and as you notice, you're walking further and further away from the center of Arid. You notice that the shipping containers change somewhat. They seem to be more about accommodation rather than for businesses. You do notice that there's a few other taverns or bars around here, or small clubs, but as you sort of like move further and further and further out, you do notice that it's getting quieter and quieter, and the general, how can I put this, the people that you are meeting are less nice. They don't look dangerous. They don't look dangerous at all. They look more that they are more working class, more
rough and ready.
Yeah, they've obviously worked for their living. You know, they're definitely workers rather than anything else. And you continue out until you reach what you can tell from a while back, because these places have ID scanners just like you, and you can see that, you know, it gets to the point that this is the Dry Gypsy. You notice that the people outside are quite, they look a little bit worse for wear. Some people are just sat on the floor. Some people, the doors are open. There seems to be some kind of synthetic music being piped through, and it's very sort of like there's a lot of discord in it, and a lot of heavy bass being blasted out all the time. And you sort of like, you walk into the area, into the bar, and yeah, you get a feeling, you get two feelings. First, before you go in, could you all make a formidable insight roll to see whether or not this causes any memories to flood back?
I would like to use a point of luck to make mine a 5.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Because I think a bar is somewhere that Newman probably would have been if he'd stayed in this town for a while.
Yeah. Okay, then. Yeah, as you go in, Newman, you get a very strong sense that you've been here before. The whole atmosphere feels right. But there's something nagging at the back of your mind. You know you were here, and you came here to meet the patron, the Johnson, and you really remember that. But there's something, you don't remember meeting them. You can't put a face to this person, but this surrounding area, you are very familiar. You know you've been here before, so you're on the right track. And as you walk in, all of you get a very distinct feeling that people look at you and they look quite shocked. People see you walking in and stop drinking, but almost like, you know, they're just about to go for the glass and they stop. And you notice that some of them sort of like push their chairs away from you as you walk in. And as you walk past the circular tables with stools around where people sit, you actually do notice that some people, the ones nearest to the door, actually get up and leave, leaving their drinks on the table. They just literally get up and leave. And yeah, if the music could stop automatically, it probably would, but it's still playing. And yeah, go for it.
Hammond would like to look over to Newman and say, Newman, can you please stop farting? It's getting very noticeable.
The barkeeper, the tender, the person in charge, sort of like hears the chairs moving and sort of like looks up, and you're not too sure why he's called Box. He's very angular and very broad across the shoulders, but you also notice that there's a pair of boxing gloves hanging from a hook. So you sort of like guess that his name, he might have been a boxer, hence the word Box, the nickname Box. He does have, he's very well built. He looks like he can handle himself, possibly with some training. But he sort of like, as he looks up and sees you, you notice his face changes. He would never smile at his customers, but you feel the sense of shock. And you sort of like, as you approach the bar, he says in a quite loud voice, although he's talking to you, he says, I don't want any trouble like last time. No trouble, you understand?
And you, my friend, must be Box.
I want no trouble. If you're coming here to drink, then you take a seat and that's it.
Hands up. We're not going to cause any trouble, but where did we sit last time? It was a lovely, comfortable seat.
He looks at you quite puzzled, and he sort of like says, take any chair, but 1 ounce of trouble, and I'm calling the enforcers. Newman, you know that the local enforcers, the police, are called enforcers.
Yeah, and I want to jump in at this point and say there will be no reason to call the enforcers. We're here for information.
He says, you don't get information without a drink.
Oh, like nudge Minsk.
So, yeah. I'll look over my shoulder with that little frown on my face and say, 3 beers.
He says,
or what passes beers over here.
He says, we don't sell beers, we sell these. And he puts sort of like 3 shot glasses down and reaches behind and pours some kind of liquid out of an opaque bottle, so you have no idea what's actually in it, and pays it out. And he sort of like, it's quite strange, he puts out his forearm to you, and you notice he's got a subdermal contactless payment underneath his forearm. So he holds it out. He just requires you to scan your cred stick or your
Which
card.
I will do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it sort of like bleeps.
Do I know how much has come off? Is it just, I don't know until I check.
You can stick it in if you're carrying away around your multi scanners. You know that you got from.
Oh yes, yeah.
If you're wearing that, then you can tell that you've been charged a fair amount, you know, but not a huge amount. It's only about 12 credits for each one.
Before I drink mine, and we want to find a table anyway, but I want Purdy just to scan the drink.
Are you saying over comms?
Well, I want to wait. Yeah, I want to wait until we sit down, but or over comms to Purdy. If Purdy can reveal what's in the drink over comms,
Yeah.
that would be fantastic.
She's sort of like, you go to a table and you all three of you sit down, and Purdy doesn't sit. She just sort of like stands there, rather like sticking out quite a much. And you sort of like over your comms, you say, Purdy, analyze the drinks. And she sort of like takes one of her measuring devices and she sticks it in each drink at over the time. And she says, well, it over comms, because that's what you asked her to do. She says, well, let's just say you're not going to get drunk quickly on this, gentlemen. It's about 1% synthetic alcohol, which itself is actually very short of pure alcohol. That's probably only 1% of 1%. And with the diluting factor of the so-called water, you are probably looking at, well, maybe 0.0001% alcohol in these.
Good hydration.
Essentially, what you're just saying is just gross water. That's fantastic.
Yes, Arthur, I would say. You would not find me. It would require heavy filtration before it entered any of my systems.
Yeah.
But luckily, Arthur over Hammond, he's okay to drink as much as he wants, really, because it won't hurt his body.
My body's just fine, Minsk. Anyway.
That's actually a matter of opinion, Arthur. Normally, you would be expected to have probably an upside-down triangle with your shoulders a lot wider than your waist. However, your BMI is slightly over your recommended body dimensions. Would you like me to continue to let you know about the condition of your liver, heart, lungs, kidney, gallbladder?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you, Mum. Anyways, what have you found out so far here? Anyone, any rekindling of our memories? Anything?
Is that to that's to the party or to Purdy?
Yeah, to the party.
Okay, I thought that was to Purdy.
Purdy says, as previously mentioned, my data banks have been wiped. The only thing I remember is waiting in the starport. I do not think that I would frequent a place like this. Did you know that there are 562,000 different bacteria and germs living on this floor and on the underside of the table?
I was thinking it was 563,000. What a crazy coincidence. Anyways, the rest of you, what do you think?
I know we've been here before, but I have a weird feeling that when we came here, whoever it is who said they'd be meeting us did not show up.
Why do you think that?
Because I can't remember meeting anybody here, but I know we came, and apparently we caused trouble.
Trouble with a capital T by the sounds of it, the way people run out the place.
Yeah. I don't think it was due to a drunken haphazardness, because we can't get drunk off this.
We can get hydrated, though, and it was a bit of a walk to get out here.
It certainly was. I want to have a quick look around the walls of this place to see if there's any sort of like blaster marks or
shotgun holes in the wall.
Yeah, shotgun holes in the wall. Telltale signs that we were here.
Yeah, well,
any brain marks that have been scrubbed off?
You know, that is so funny. You saw like any gunshots or blaster marks to say that we've been here. Is this a sort of like approach of this party?
Allegedly, we've turned a new leaf.
Trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was their claim, is we caused trouble, and we were going through a lot of stuff back then.
Minsk, roll a perception check.
Certainly.
Oh,
Look, be a lady tonight.
yeah. There's no sign of small arm or light arm fire, bullets or anything in the whole place. You get the feeling that this is probably not the sort of tavern or bar that has gunfights. Newman, you will know that, this is not, it's not wise with enforcers to go around drawing your weapons and blasting. It generally leads to arrests, but there's no sign, Minsk. You can see nothing. But because it's a critical role, I'm going to give you something else that you saw.
Ooh.
And
Lady.
Minsk, you noticed this, and you can talk over comms if you wish.
Certainly.
You notice that the box for a moment has turned round, and he seems to be fiddling with a piece of paper, and it seemed to have been folded up or maybe even screwed up, and he's sort of like opening it and sort of like flattening it out, and you see that, and then he sort of like slips it into his pocket.
Guys, I just saw a box over there opening something that looks like he'd thrown away before, and he seems to be just trying to open it up again. I want to know what's on that piece of paper, and it's in his pocket. How?
Oi, idiots! And you suddenly notice that you turn round, and in the doorway there seems to be 3 people. They look like it looks like they've been injured. One's got a fading black eye. The other one seems to have some kind of artificial sling holding his arms up, and they seem to have various cuts on their faces that have healed up but are still present. And they sort of like step in, 3 of them, the leader and 2 others, and they say to you, "You're not going to do us this time. You're not going to do it this time, because this time we're here to deal you some of your own medicine." And Buck says, "Guys, I don't want anything else in here. It's taken me a year. Not a year. It's taken me a long time to try to fix the tables." And the big guy sort of like says, "Shut up, Box. We're here for them." And they point at you. And he says, 3 on 3, we thought it would be a fair match with you, but we've changed our mind. You beat us up so badly. This time we brought reinforcements. And the 3 step forward, and another 3 come into the room. So there's 6 of them at the moment. Can you please click on your whatchamacallit and roll your initiatives? Right. Oh, hang on, because Min's got 20. Oh, so that's them there.
Damn, Mint's got some 21.
I got some smarts.
Nice.
Nice. Yes.
Nice. Okay. So there's our combat. Hang on. I just need to roll my my thuggies. Initiative. And then I'll add them because they don't have a... Oh, no. 9. It's not good. I'll call them street thugs.
I mean, they spent all that time talking. We're getting ready and aware that things are going to happen.
Yeah. So you're... That's there. If you want to know whether or not you're near something or something like that, then let me know. They don't seem to have any weapons. There's some of them that are going like this. Um,
I'm so gonna die.
um,
God.
I think what we'll say, unless you guys want to do something different, do you want to start the combat stood up?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. So we'll say that you probably pushed your chairs back. Purdy goes, "Oh my, is there going to be a battle?"
Does Purdy roll initiative?
No, she can't fight.
That's right, she can't. But she
she
can flee.
and
She can heal.
Please heal me.
Purdy, stand behind me. I'll protect you.
Newman, what's your
11. You go before me.
yeah, hers is 15. So that's a poor roll for her. Yeah, okay then. So there it is. So we'll start the combat. There's no, I don't want to keep putting a whole load of maps out because I think it gets very tactical in the sense that people sort of like say, I'll move here. I'm quite happy for you to picture the scene in your head, and then if you need any information, we can create it as you go through it. You're stood up. You don't have any weapons drawn or anything, and there's 6 of them. They're at the far side of the tavern at the moment. So if you want to engage with them, you're going to have to move and then hit. Remember, you can move and hit at the same time. So it's not like just move. So you can move, then hit at the end. Or you can link it to another action and not do the hit. So you can move and draw a weapon. And the draw the weapon would be your action at that point. Also remember that you only have 2 actions. 2 action points. Okay, so Minsk. You're up 21. What would you like to do?
I'd like to use a free action and say, you guys never learn, and I want to pick up the chair that is next to me and throw it
then.
at them.
So the action will be to pick up the chair.
Yep.
Okay, so next time you get up to 21, you can then chuck
throw
it. Newman.
I would like to draw up my stun baton.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I noted that it's a law baton with stun as a
please,
as like a.
Please tell me you go like that. It goes da 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 da.
Yes, and I want to like press the button so it crackles a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, you can move as well if you wish. Or
I probably take like a step forward, but
Yeah.
I'm generally where I'm at. Like I'm trying to show that we mean business, and if you want to be on the end of this baton,
yeah.
come at us, bro.
Purdy sort of like says, "Is there anything you would like me to do, James?" James can't answer because he's used up his free action for this round.
Yeah.
Hammond, what would you like to do on 15?
They for sure don't have any blasters or anything on them, right? They're coming in with fisticuffs.
You can roll a percentage check, a perception check.
Perception.
To see
Yeah, I
whether or
want to roll
not
perception.
have a good look at them for your action.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Looks like they've just got fisticuffs.
Oh, whatever. I'm gonna piss off the barkeep. I'm gonna piss off the barkeep, and I'm going to flip the table.
Hang on. That perception roll is your action. So we're on to the street thugs.
All right, I'll do the next one.
Who now move, and then they will take their action, their combat at the end of it. So generally they're sort of like coming up to you. Nobody's attacking Purdy because she's a robot, but you generally get 2 each between you. Okay, so their first actions will be to swipe at you. You can, if you wish, you can parry an armed combat attack. Okay, or you can evade it, but remember, if you evade it, then you're on the floor. And for we'll go right to left just so I can, because that's what I'm looking at. So Newman, then Minsk, then Hammond. Okay, so they have their combat. It's called back alley thuggery. So
bring your thuggery.
So this is your 2 attacks, Newman.
I don't even flinch.
Yeah, first one, you just they stop too early swiping. You just move back slightly, and the second one misses you as well. Probably a kick coming in from a different side or something like that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the answer is no because this seems broken. But if one was to parry with the electric baton, and like I succeeded at a parry on an unarmed attack, would that cause a stun?
No, because you would be parrying on a blank part of because the stun would come from the end, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah. So next to is you, Minsk. Miss. I just want to remind you at this point that I have 2 luck points.
Oh no!
And I'm that first hit I'm going to reverse,
I shouldn't have said anything.
which will give me a 6, which
6.
means it hits. It's not a crit though. And then the second one, he fumbles.
Reverse that one. That one.
Yeah, it's gonna hit the other guy.
Yeah, so he fumbles. I'm actually going to make an athletics roll, and if he fails, he actually overextends himself and he's on the floor. Oh no, but he stays up.
Oh, wow.
He stays up. So yes, so this attack's coming. You got 1 attack coming for you, Mings. Do you wish to use up your second action to?
Yes, I'm going to try and parry.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to put
Unarmed.
this chair unarmed between. In fact, yeah, the chair unarmed between me and him. Oh, it's so close.
You want to use luck or not?
No, because I've got a chair in my hand. I'm not used to fighting. Minsk is not a fighter.
He's a lover.
He's a lover. Yeah, jinx. He's a lover and a shooter.
He doesn't. I don't have specials because things. So this is just going to be hit location and then damage. So your hit location is 19.
19. It's on my bonds, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. So he's
no armor.
He sort of like whacks round and swipes at your face, and you can't get away with it. And he only does 1 point of damage as he makes contact with your cheek.
One's enough on the head, though.
Yeah, it's not a serious wound, is it? Please.
No, it's worse than that.
And Granddaddy Hammond, here comes your 2 fists. That one, I'm going to use my second point of luck and reverse it to a 14, so that will hit. And that one, I'm out of luck at the moment, and that one won't hit. Do you wish to parry this attack, Arthur? Hammond?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, go for it then. So roll unarmed combat you need to roll.
Well, I do have a question though, because I remember at the beginning of all of the whole campaign, you were talking about basic training, and you said any kind of close combat.
That's your
fighting.
Your basic training is with blaster and knife.
All right. So if I bust out my knife,
then
things could be a little easier.
Ooh.
Yes, it would be, and a little bit more deadly.
Yeah, a little bit more deadly.
So, do you wish to parry the hit?
Yeah.
Go for it.
We do have a medic if we started stabbing, though.
Okay, so that's a miss. So you don't see this coming in, and it comes to your 2. So he kicks you in your leg. He was going for your kneecap to take you down, but
I got armor there.
Yeah, so he takes you take 2, which the armor will stop, I think, and that's the end of the first turn. Some of you, if you've parried, you will have an action this turn.
Can I use a free action though still?
No, free actions. Free actions are per round, because each round is 5 seconds long.
Yeah.
So Minsk, you will have any actions left, won't you?
No, no, I'm completely out of action.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Newman.
I think it's just Purdy and I that would have actions left because I didn't need to parry anything.
Okay, then go for it then. So, do you wish to strike out at one of yours?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and shove this shock baton into their ribs. But let's see if I hit. I want to use a point of luck.
Yeah, so that just can be reversed, can't it? To
Yes.
48. So this guy is not stupid. They're going to try to block your attack. Their skill is 36, so that will be its action, and it will be out of actions for one of yours. Yeah, he blocks it. You've got slightly... your weapon is bigger than my arm, so if you... I'm going to say that it's going to block half the damage, and the rest is going to go into his arm as he tries to block it. So, yeah, tell me...
Actually, I can just roll it here.
3, so that'd be 2 points, yeah.
Because he blocked it, then I probably didn't get the stun into his ribs.
Yeah.
Am I wrong by saying it isn't opposed? So you have to get higher than 48.
Combat's not... combat's a
Oh,
differential.
no, it's differential. Sorry, yeah, my apologies.
It happens if it's critical, standard, or fumble.
Yeah.
So he manages to parry it, so you don't get a special or anything. Just remember, Hammond, yours, just so you know, Newman, your thugs are 1 and 2. Minsk, yours are 3 and 4, and Hammond, yours are 5 and 6. Okay, just in case I forget. Okay then, so you sort of like strike out with a baton, but this guy manages to block it, but he takes some damage in his arm. You definitely feel maybe a whack or a slight crack. Purdy says, "Oh my," and steps further back. And yeah, Hammond, these are... you got nothing, so these are my attacks back now. So Newman, you've got 1 because the other one parried, so he has no actions left at all. So here comes his roll. He misses. Minsk, you've got 2. That's a miss. Oh, that's a hit.
A most palpable hit.
Yeah, that's a nice hit. But he doesn't have any crits. He doesn't do anything different on a crit, so don't worry. This comes into your 9. Oh, they're knocking you about a bit, Mince.
It's in my belly.
Yeah. So he's sort of like, you take one to the side of the head and then go straight in your guts. But there is armor here, which has stopped the 1 point there. So that's you over and done with. And then Hammond, they've got 1 more attack on you. That misses, and that misses as well. Okay, which now takes us back up to combat round 2. So you have a free action now. And yeah, we're coming to you, Minsk.
Free action will be to Purdy to say...
Stand by medical.
Help as you do best. That can't be wrong. Help. Yes. Purdy, help us, keep us upright.
And she says, "Do not worry, James. I am very proficient in mending broken bones, cracked ribs, any amount of bleeding, whether or not it's internal, external, hemorrhaging, even cracks to the skull that causes aneurysms on the brain. You are in safe hands, James. Oh, watch out, James."
And I will take a swing and heal the person I'm going to hit. Yeah, with my chair.
Oh, yes. So your
hit.
chair does 1d4 damage rather than 1d3.
Awesome. So I will swing it unarmed again, isn't
Yep.
it? So, yeah, I'm going to miss. I was going to throw it, but Nope, it's a miss. So I swing this around, and it just goes over the head because I've been knocked in the face. I've been punched in the stomach, and that woof, and it just
I'm beginning to wonder whether or not you actually won the first battle. Are you?
Yeah, no, I am too. I sat down.
I was going to say maybe you weren't involved in it.
No. I am the Bartleby of this group.
Yeah, Newman.
I am going for those ribs again. I'm going to make these people suffer. And here's my roll. Wow.
You can look it and reverse it.
I have one last luck point, and I don't know what that means, Medivac. All I can think of is you want me to go on a carousel.
He wants you to reverse the roll.
Okay, yeah, no, I know it's just giving fuel to the fire, but I'm going to do that to get an 18.
Okay then. So that's an 18. So he has a chance to block this one. Are you going for the one that you hit before?
Yeah, I'm ignoring the one who's just swinging and stumbling.
Okay.
On the other side. That's
cool. So it was number one that you hit before. So he'll try to parry this blow, but misses. So you'll have a special, and then a hit location. And damage, just so it's normal. So your stun can be your special, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I would like to invoke the stun.
Okay,
here.
So that's your special. So I need hit location, and then damage.
Right in his, not quite his ribs, but
in
right
his
leg
legs.
is probably.
So you probably jab him in his thigh to try to take him down and out of the fight. What's
jabby, jabby.
Oh, that's a little bit of damage.
Yeah, I was just trying to.
That's beautiful.
Look up stun because I forget how exactly it works. If the blow overcomes armor points and injures the target, the defender must make an opposed roll of endurance versus my 18.
Okay then. So hang on. So my endurance. There you go. Oh, I get a 16.
And in an opposed roll, I would win,
so
though, right?
You win. You certainly do. Which leg did this go into? 2. And this is the one that you hit before, isn't it?
I'd assumed I hit his arm before.
Oh, yes. No, you hit his arm before. And yeah, you did. Now this is his leg. Just to let you know, that stuns his leg, but it also... causes him he's below 0 hit points, so he's now on a serious wound, and he's all like, you go bang on his leg, and there's all like a as electrical shock, and he sort of like vibrates for a while and then falls to the ground and sort of like twitches. He's unconscious, he's not dead, but he's definitely not going to be using that leg for a while at all. So next up is Purdy's not doing anything. Hammond, you're up.
Hammond's gonna grab his chair.
Okay.
And he's going to then swing the chair.
So your action will be to ready the chair. So your next action, when we come round for round 2, you can then have a swing at it. So this is the street thugs now. So this is the one with you, Newman. He's just seen you shock his friend, who's now shaking on the floor. So he has to make a willpower check, which he fails. And he sort of like backs up. He puts his hands up like this as he's backing away from you, and you're just sort of like there menacing with the baton in your hand. Minsk, you still got 2 in front of you.
2 indeed, yes.
Oh, that was good.
Oh my Gideon. It's like I've got a magnet. What was that bloody magnet?
Was that somebody's phone that went on off the same time as I clicked that?
Yeah, my phone did. Yeah.
Well, that was good timing. Well done.
Why, thank you.
Do you wish to
Totally
parry?
hitting me.
Do you wish to parry this?
Hell yes,
Okay.
because I'm slappy happy.
Yeah. Remember, just go for it then.
So it's unarmed, but I'm going to use this because it's exactly the same as my unarmed.
Slap attack. Yeah. No, you
No.
you missed that. He swipes in at your 20, your head again.
Oh, my head.
Your head must hurt by now.
It will, yes. I'm probably going to pass out by the next one.
3 points.
Oh, yes. That puts me down to a lovely canny 0.
Oh, you're fine then, aren't you? It's the.
Is it -1 or is it 0's still a roll?
It is. Oh yeah, 0 points or less. So you need to make a endurance check against my original roll, which was a critical 2.
Okay, is this opposed? Well, I'll roll it. Oh, my life.
Yeah. So
Can I use a point of luck to reverse that? Or would that make a difference?
It won't make, because mine's a crit.
I need to get a crit.
Yeah, you need to get a crit that's better than mine. So if you critted with a 3, then
I see. Yes,
you would beat it. So he's sort of like, I think he's hit you in the face. He's put one of them's
in
punched
the gut.
in your gut, and then the last one goes ka-ching, right there,
Right in my face.
and you just fall to
You can almost see little birds going around my head.
Yeah.
And I literally just keel over.
Yeah.
You see the chair go in the air, and I've gone poof.
You are definitely
I'm out.
out for the count. I'm just going to put a cross on you for the time
Looks
being.
so pretty.
So and then these two come to you, Hammond, and swipe at you. That one misses, and that one misses as well. Okay, then. So turn 2. Minsk, you're out. Newman, you can see that 2 of these are taken Minsk down. You can either stay where you are or...
Am I able to hit one of the guys who's hitting Minsk down?
Just be a couple of steps and then you can whack him one.
Yeah, I'll swivel and stomp over there and swing my baton as hard as I can. Towards the skull, ideally. Got a 30.
Yeah. So he's not going to react to it because he's not too sure what's happening over that side. So you'll get a special, and then you need hit location and damage. You can use your stun as your special if you wish.
I would like to use bash as my special.
Okay.
This might be a stupid idea, but I'm hoping to get maybe push him into the other guy.
Yeah.
Show them that I mean business.
So for every 2 points of damage rolled, I think, is it?
Yeah.
No,
look up a
no,
second.
that's a shield. Bludgeon would be 1 meter per every 3 points of maximum damage.
I think I only need a meter to probably bump them into each other, but
yeah. Well, you've hit, so bash, and now so hit location then damage.
I was just doing last minute. Yeah, I'm going bash. Right in the 12.
Cool.
Which would be chest on me. And then here is
Your damage.
the pain.
5. So yeah, he will actually be pushed back 1 meter rather than 2, which means he's sort of like gone back. I'm going to make an athletics roll to see whether or not I fall, because this place is quite there's chairs and tables everywhere. It has to be a hard
Trips
one.
over my body.
Has to be a hard check, which he fails. So he stumbles back. You whack him and he stumbles back and falls on the floor and sees you approaching. And, he's obviously quite impressed. And Purdy starts to waddle across to Minsk. And Arthur, Hammond, what do you wish to do? There's two of them. You got your chair now.
I got my chair. I'm going to. I'm just gonna whack for it. See what
Yeah,
happens. I
nice
don't know.
one.
Yeah. I don't. What am I rolling for that?
It's unarmed still.
Still okay.
Oh, hang on. Unless you've got a combat style that includes like
Chair.
Chairs and small household implements.
I was going to say more like a club or a baton or something like that.
No.
Okay,
It's not,
unarmed then.
Basic training. Oh no.
Come on, Hammond.
I'm going to use my last point of luck to reverse that. Last point of luck to reverse it.
Okay then. So yeah, you've hit one.
Nice.
So you've got special, and then so a special hit location.
Oh, sorry, I accidentally pressed that again. It's my bad. I'm going to. I accidentally pressed that. I'm going to do what Mr. Pickles did. I'm going to do bash. That makes a lot of sense.
You can't do it with your hands. Has to be a weapon.
That's what the chair.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. You've
Chair.
got the chair. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
You're
Then.
fine.
So
Right,
hit location first.
Okay. So
11. Yeah, and then you need to roll 1d4.
1d4. All right.
For your damage. So that'll knock him. You sort of like whack it into him, and you sort of like whack him straight on his somewhere in his chest, isn't it? Yeah. You whack him in his chest. He needs to make an athletics roll, which he would normally fail, but I'm going to use one of your lovely luck points for me to succeed in that. So he staggers back. He's 1 meter away from you. Hang on. There's something else that I need to do for when you're using a chair. Oh yes, I remembered. Okay. Can you roll a percentile dice for me? Just a normal one, just to let you know. If you get above 50, the chair breaks on him. If you get below 50, it doesn't break. Yeah, so you sort of like go bang, and the chair, you still got almost like 2 chair legs in your hand, so you're not disarmed, but you sort of like whacking, he probably keels over, you whack him on his back, and the chair splinters, and he's he's just sort of like knocked back, but he's not sat, he's not on his back. Okay then, this one, I'm going to go through them. So Newman, the one that you hit and knocked back, this is the first one. This is his willpower, which he fails. So he's now doing that bit, you know, when they crawl backwards on the floor, trying to get away from you. And the other guy over Minsk, who's seen you now, 2 of his friends gone, and you take down 2 people, rolls his and thinks better of it. The willpower, this is the willpower check, Hammond, on the one that you've pushed back, and he fails his. But the other one is still up for a fight. He's seen his friend pick up, you bash him over the back or his chest with a chair, and this street thug uses his action to pick up what seems to be some kind of bottle from the table and go smash, and now seems to be armed with the equivalent of a dagger. So because it's like a slash weapon, it can do things like bleed now. And that's the end of... Does anybody else have any actions for third pass? I wouldn't have thought so. No. Okay, so we go on to combat round 3. Turn 1. Minsk, you are out of it, although Purdy is attempting to give you first aid. Oh, she's good. She has a skill of 90. she started to administer pain relieving drugs. She has a little thing that pops out and goes psst, 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 and flicks water on your face just to try to make you come round. If not, she just pinches you, and then that's it. Newman. So these thugs look like they're going. There's one more facing Hammond. You can use your stun baton on him if you wish.
Yeah, I'm not going to chase down people who are fleeing. I'm not a psychopath. I'm going to go to the guy with the psychopath weapon, and I'm going to beat him with my baton while mumbling stuff about the law.
Which one is the person facing? The one with the psychopath weapon?
You, Hammond.
Me? Oh, great. Okay.
The guy who's about to fight the law.
Well,
And the law word.
Yeah, all right.
Do you want to know?
I like to think.
The only reason I want it is because I remembered that there's a really good special called Scar Opponent. It does look. It does exist.
I know. I remember that because I wanted to put a little
Well, and it looks like your character.
Hazra H. Yeah.
It looks like Hammond's got a cut along his face. And I just thought maybe I can make this real. Okay, Newman, go for it.
Here's my attack.
Oh!
I like to think that Hammond, you just saw him break that glass bottle, and he's holding up menacingly, and then out of the corner of your eye, you just see me just charging towards him, stomping towards him like a train.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Hell no.
Okay, so you have two specials. So you could actually do
A proper special.
hit location because you got a crit, aren't you? And
Bypass armor.
well,
or maximize damage.
or hit location and hit the head.
I could do
No,
max
no,
damage
I do that.
and bash, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Or you could do choose location, hand the glass in, and max damage.
Or you could just hit his head and knock him out.
No, I want to do max damage and bash because I'm using my full momentum.
Okay then.
Coming
So
in here.
hit location first.
14
14
is right arm.
right arm. The hand with the bottle in. What's your maximum damage you can do?
Maximum damage should be 8.
8. So that'll be 2 meters back, won't it?
Correct.
However, 8 on his right arm actually takes him down to -4, which is
Your arm's off, man.
actually his negative hit points at all. So that's actually a major wound. So you hit him. He's immediately incapacitated, unable to continue fighting. And because it's in a limb, when you hit it, did you bolt it or not? I presume not, because you didn't do. Or
Yeah. This is just like I swung it like a club, just whipping his arm.
and you actually shatter the bone of his forearm. So I imagine he had the bottle out ready to do Hammond, and you just sort of like came and went bang on his forearm, and you shattered both the radius and the ulna in it. He drops the bottle on the ground and screams momentarily and collapses to the ground, unconscious. Purdy sort of like says, Newman, I think that gentleman requires some kind of medical assistance.
I'll just turn, look at her, and nod with a smile.
Minsk, what are you at? Are you at a serious wound somewhere?
No, I'm just negative. I'm just 0.
Whereabouts? Which one on
My head.
your head? Okay.
So I'm quite. My head.
So the first aid from Purdy will bring it back partial functionality to your to yourself, which means that you're basically on 1 in that hit location. So you're round, and she sort of like says, James, I think you will need a bit of bed rest for me to completely restore your senses.
Purdy, I can't think of anything better than bed rest.
And there's sort of like 2 broken chairs now, I think, a broken bottle, and Newman just stood there with his stun baton that he's just sort of like taken out.
An entire team.
Yeah, and I either took them out or scared them off, and the box suddenly sort of like shouts out to you, and he says, take this, but never come back to my bar again.
What's this?
He seems to be holding out what appears to be a straightened out piece of paper.
I'll march over to him and take the paper. And once I'm there, I'll say, at least it was only 1 chair this time.
He says, here, do not come back to here again.
I'll nod and take it and then go back to my team. I'm assuming we're all limping out.
Yeah, and as you're going out, Purdy's sort of like talking out loud. She's saying, James, I really think you should get best bed rest as quickly as possible. And maybe next time we have some downtime, maybe practice boxing or some other martial arts that might help you.
Or dodging.
Yeah, or evade.
Purdy, my my forte isn't fighting. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
But I think piano playing is probably not very good in these situations, Master James.
That much is true, but thank you for your concern. I intend to get some pretty fast downtime when I get back, once we've figured out what this note is.
Okay, so you...
But Purdy, thank you. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure, James. I'm so pleased that you brought me along this time. It sort of like demonstrates my effectiveness if you ever running into any trouble. I really don't understand why you never took me on your ship to start off with, why you left me behind at the starport.
Purdy, I don't know either.
Why'd you do
That's
it?
what we're trying to find out.
Do you think I am not capable?
I don't know, because you saved me now. We don't know why we didn't take you. We met this person here or didn't meet them, fought these people apparently last time, and then ran to our ship and jumped on it and got blown up.
Biological readings state that you are telling the truth, James. Thank you.
I know. So let's head back to let's head back to home.
Yeah, you sort of like go out and you sort of like there's various people. Some of them, it looks like there was quite a crowd that had appeared. 3 people outside looking in, and as you go, boxes cursing and picking up the chairs, etc. Yeah, go for it.
Just as we're walking and all these people are around, could I ask Newman? Newman, is it worth you asking some of these folk here what happened last time we were here? Because they all ran away quite sharpish.
And these ones who are looking through the windows seem like they enjoy a good situation.
Through the door.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
I'll pass the note that I got from Box to Mintz, because
Okay.
he's a captain, and then I'll go ahead and try and ask about the crowd, about what happened before that led up to this.
Roll your influence skill.
Yeah, it's not very good, but I'm gonna do it anyways. No luck.
Oh, sorry, that was a 1.
They seem rather reluctant to talk to you, and they're sort of like back away. When you come near them, they sort of like back away, and their eyes flick to wherever your stun baton. Are you pleased to see me? Is that a stun button in your pocket? Or are you pleased to see us? And they just sort of like back away and sort of like turn away and walk off as you come near. Minsk, on the note, there seems to be a series of numbers, and underneath them there's 2 words that says Silent Angel. And
we've heard that name.
just let me me just check something. Ba, 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 ba.
Do these numbers look like coordinates or?
Well, what I'm going to give you to do is that I'm seeing whether or not you have a skill that would allow you to decipher that rather than you yourself. Yeah, roll a navigation skill for me.
That's what I was aiming for. Yes. No. Can you use a point of luck to re-roll that, please?
Yes, by all means.
Have a free point of luck.
Yeah. You they are coordinates. You bring up from your multi-scanner sort of like a Google map of the planet, and it appears to be out of one of the mining hubs. So when mines are created, they transport 2, 3, 4 cargo boxes, shipping containers out there, and they become like the accommodation. And this is exactly, it seems to be a miner hub, probably about 3 hours drive from here. You can sort of like see the location. The mine is actually deactivated. It seems to be no longer in use, but that's where the coordinates would lead you to.
I'll pass this information on to Hammond and to Newman, and I'll give the note to Newman as well. See if he can decipher anything else on there, but or give us something to play with. Yeah, and with that, I think we should go back to our abode.
Okay.
As you sort of like going back, and when you get back there, Purdy will administer healing or medicine for you, which will allow you to. It won't remove the bruises from your face where you've been knocked around a couple of times, but it will give you your hit points back overnight. At some point, Purdy sort of like sees the note, and she sort of like says, "That Mint James, that's about 3 hours drive away."
Do you know, I was thinking the same thing when I found out the location. It's 3 hours drive away, and it's morning. Do you think we should wait till I don't know. How are we going to get there? To drive, you say?
Well, surely, James, in your vehicle.
I have a vehicle.
Of course, you have a vehicle. You bought it shortly after arriving.
Purdy, I don't need to say you again, but remember, I cannot remember
you're a
any...
womble.
Womble, remember you're a womble. Remember. I can't remember anything prior to meeting you and my long-term memory. Anything recent is gone.
If you look in the character selection area, you now should be able to see your land speeder.
So that's what it was parked out front. I thought the neighbors were just using our parking.
Darn.
I can't see it.
So can everybody see it or not?
Is it in the second one across the journal?
Hang on a minute. It's taken everybody out of it. Let me just do it again. For someone, can you see it now? Is there a folder called vehicles?
Oh, yes, there is now.
Yeah.
Land speeder standard.
Okay, then. So just everybody should be able to open it and view it. You can see down the right-hand side, there's attributes and modules. Note, this gives you a rough idea of what you could have in vehicles later on. It's a terrain. It is a land speeder, so it has semi-hover abilities, which means that it hovers off the ground, but it doesn't fly. Okay, I need to
Right.
make that quite clear.
I need to chuck around for chugs here. Can we shoot one brats in it?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Oh, good.
Thank
No, you could once you're in it.
Bullseye one brats with
yeah.
our T.
So you can see from the system there that it has its speed is 12, which is approximately 250 kilometers per hour. The handling is based on special maneuvers. So there's some special maneuvers that you need a higher handling for. So for example, you can't bootleg this. It doesn't have a high enough handling. So the higher the handling, the better. Size, obvious. Armor, it says 10. You can have another armor. If you ever see it 10/something, yours is just 10. If there's a slash after it, it means the amount of armor that it gives to occupants as well. So if armor was 10/2, then it would give its own armor is 10, but it automatically gives you 2 armor points, which has to be taken off first before things would hit you inside. Everything else, you got 60 hit points before it goes. There's no hit location on these, mainly because it has very limited modules. But the more modules you get, the more hit points, the more hit locations happen. Just to let you know, you should all have a drive skill.
That's my next question. Was it drive or pilot for this?
Drive. It's a terrain
It's
vehicle.
not my vehicle.
Somebody.
I have a 25 in drive.
So just to let you know, the other thing is
18.
with 18.
18
Yeah, I'm the driver.
or 80.
18.
Oh.
Hey, I'm an older gentleman. I obviously don't have my glasses. Just
I have a 26.
Purdy has a 32.
She can drive.
Oh, she drives us.
Great.
Thank you,
yeah.
Birdie.
Just to let you know, the other thing that takes into account your handling doubles up as your initiative if there's anything to do with vehicle combat or starship combat. It's all based on handling. So this is handling 8. So you would roll a 1d10 and add 8 on it, and that would be the vehicle's
Initiative, yeah.
thing. So they can have weapons on them, they can have shields, etc., etc. So they can have self-repair and things like that. So there's lots to be able to do with your speeder, but that is yours free of charge. It is yours. You paid for it before the reduction. So so that seems to be a good place to finish today. You can have a good night's sleep, and then tomorrow morning you can do whatever you wish and maybe head out to the mining hub, and then that would be it.
Spend the day with boxer practicing.
Yeah, if you wish. So, and yes, you definitely did something there last time. Whether or not it was just another barroom brawl, you're not too sure, but you're starting to get a bit of a reputation in this that area of town.
But then again, it's a good reputation with Newman, because it's like, if he's with us, people just flee.
Yeah, nobody's going to bother you with Newman around. It's just sort of like...
Pass me the Newman.
Yeah.
Hammond got one dude, all right, guys? Hammond.
True.
One dude.
I got my ass kicked.
Hammond wasn't the one who was punched out cold.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
He used his old man strength and he beat the shit out of one dude.
Poor Mince.
Oh, gosh. I know. Do you know what? That's his character. That's brilliant for him. Because it's like he will get knocked out in one punch. It's like, well,
he's what is it? A snowflake.
He's a snowflake. Yes.
He's
he
a
likes
chocolate
things
fire
from a
guard.
distance.
So
Yes.
glass cannon. So I did wonder whether or not you were going to go and your blaster was going to come in,
No.
you had to go bang.
No, because a bar fight's a bar fight, and it wasn't serious.
It's all about
The-
honor. It's all about.
Yeah, it's more like it's like with that guy smashing the glass.
Yeah.
If that hadn't happened, then Newman, I'm sure, wouldn't have done what he did.
Well, yes. I mean,
I still got critical there. So yeah, maybe I would have stunned him in the skull. Who knows?
but Newman is definitely getting a rep. I think I might hand out, since people were talking about it, I think Newman needs to start having some kind of a passion. For
Passion for smashing?
yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's a keeper. That is definitely a keeper.
Oh my
A
life.
passion for smashing. Yeah,
Passion for
we
smashing.
like that. Okay, we're going to leave it there, viewers. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's adventure. The party are slowly fitting things together. And yeah, they're going to go out to a mining hub next time, to a mine that looks like it's been decommissioned. Number one, who or what is Silent Angel? And secondly, why is the note saying to take them out there? It seems very strange indeed. Okay, look after yourself, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful week. I'll be back tomorrow, definitely at 2 o'clock to play some more ESO, hopefully a little bit earlier if I can get my work done. Yeah, so thank you. When's Medivac, when's your D&D session?
It's possibly going to be a week on Thursday,
A week
because
on Thursday?
unless Zed's free this Thursday, but
Okay.
no, it's every Thursday. But thank you for
Yeah, so normally on Thursday, if you want to see Medivac and his Clan UK playing some Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, then go along to his channel now and give him a follow so you know when he's starting as well. We'll be back hopefully next week with a lot cooler Captain and Mr.
Probably not. Yeah.
Do you notice?
I'm gonna be in a different place of America next week. I'm
Ooh.
gonna be
How exciting.
Alaska.
I'm gonna be in New Orleans next week. So
Ooh.
Wow. I always wanted to go there.
Is it the
Yeah,
Day
so,
of the Dead or something?
no, it's the day of trying to reach the limits of my liver day. So
Oh, I see.
Oh, is it
Um,
when you put the things around ladies' necks and take the clothes off?
that's in February. That's
Oh,
Or draft.
Mardi Gras.
I'll still, it's the 4th of July though, so that's our big day.
Oh,
That's,
it is.
that's
Crap,
when we
yes.
separated. That's when we separated from you
Oh,
guys.
Independence
That's when you
Day.
when you
Yeah.
sank all our tea.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's when we decided that yes, we're going to call it fries and not chips.
Chips.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So to confuse us when we go into a restaurant in America and go, hi, can I have fish and chips, please? And they give you fish with crisps.
With a packet of salt and vinegar. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember you used to get crisps that were fish and chips crisps? And they were
Yes.
like little
Yeah,
snacks.
they're little,
Yeah.
yeah.
Salt and vinegar
Yeah.
with little
I think you
fish.
can still get them.
Can you? Ooh, I'll have to
I'm sure
check.
you can. I'll check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, we're going to head off. If you're interested in following the campaign, then I've put the link to the World Anvil site that you can see when things pop up. Till next time, look after yourself. Please stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay positive. It's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from them.
Goodbye. Don't kiss your secretary.
Or do, you know.
Yeah, do. Yes.